Hello and welcome to the transcription explanation of this design. This design features a lot more than just the translation of Thomas and Rebecca Forever, which is done in the circles at the bottom. I also kind of formatted it in a 5x7 card, which is pretty standard for invitations and cards and stuff. So that 5x7 card should be pretty printable for something to use this design actually on. And I gave you a couple of files, so a lot of card making companies let you do proper embossing of like a foil or a metallic. So I have this in two separate layers. There's the layer I recommend of silver, and then the layer I recommend of gold. And this gold design here is what I think it's what the design in Gallifreyan says for Thomas and Rebecca Forever. And this is kind of like the coloration I did for you on kind of a blue background. So yeah, let me go ahead and get to how this design says what it says. So as a fancier design, I went a bit, let me zoom in, okay. I went a bit crazy on the outer set and circles and extra decorations going through words. I usually don't add much more than just the words and letters themselves, but for this to fill the page nicely, I added stuff around our words. And this stuff around the words can be interrupted. So you see how we have these empty gaps there where the English text kind of flows in and fits in. All of this stuff outside of these four main circles doesn't matter for the translation. So let's go ahead and get more into of how it translates to what it translates to. So you read the script starting at the bottom and then you go counterclockwise, like a time traveler going back in time. So this is our first letter of our first word, because in our first sentence circle, here's our first word circle here. And at the bottom of that first word circle, we have a circle that crosses the line of the word circle. Because it crosses the line of the word circle, it's in the bottom row of the grid above me. You can see the thick black different shapes at the start of each of those rows. Those are called letter stems, and the different letter stems make different columns. And because this crosses the line of the word circle, it is in the bottom row. Rows and columns. Rows and columns are hard. The bottom row, it's crossing letter stem. And this letter stem that crosses the line of the word circle has no dots by it. So like dots are like these guys, and this has no dots. And lines count where they end on a letter. So 1, 2, 3 ending points makes that one a 3-line letter. But this one has no line, so it's just a TH. So TH. And then vowels are little guys. See how these are smaller circles than our consonants? And this circle is floating inside of our word circle, making it an O. And then an M has 1, 2, 3 lines on it, and it's a floating circle, so it's in the second row. So column with 3 lines, but second row, as opposed to this one is in the third row, right below the M, and is an S because it's a shallow divot. Oh, and here's the A, another vowel, and this A is outside of our word circle, because word circle, O's are inside, A's are outside. So T-H-O-M-A-S, that's Thomas. And then here's a sentence circle, and in our sentence circle we have our word circle, and another A floating outside of that word circle here. So there's the A, 1 line on the N, and then this D is a deep divot with 3 dots. So A-N-D is and. This next word, inside of this thick sentence circle, we have a shallow divot with 1, 2, 3 dots. That's an R. And then this E is another little vowel and is inside that letter stem. So in the empty space, cut out by that like kind of bite taken out of cookie, is an E. Just like this E is also floating inside that chunk, except it's a deep divot instead of a shallow divot. So that is the R and then the E. So R with 3 dots, E floating inside that. And then the B, deep divot with no modifiers, E. And then we have a double circle, which is a double letter. And the double letter has 1, 2, 3, 4 dots on it, so it's in the column with 4 dots. So that would be double C, and then the A, again, outside of our word circle. So vowels are all little guys, A's are outside of our word circle. Yeah, you can tell the word circle because it's the one that has the letters on it. So if you look at these outer sentence circles, there are no divots or fancy shapes that make the letter stems. So this first letter shape that actually has those little letter stems on it, that's our word circle. So the A is outside that word circle, even though it's inside our sentence circle. So yeah. So there's Rebecca, and then forever, we have this deep divot, just like the B, except it has lines that end on it, specifically 1, 2, 3 lines. This line is tricky because it ends both there and it ends there. So that's 3 ending points, therefore it counts as 3 lines, therefore it's an F. Then the O is attached like a bead on a string on that F. So as opposed to being in the empty space inside it, like the E would be, it is floating on the line of where the inside of that letter stem is. So F-O, R has 3 dots. E is in the middle, like that E. Here's a V with 1 line, and then another E, and another R. 1, 2, 3 dots, again on this chalet divot. So those are the 2 R's. And that is Thomas and Rebecca Forever. And that is the cart design. I hope you like it. Thanks. Bye.